I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And the first new show of 2025 on Primetime Saturday. And at our new time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. New year, lots of new things going on, but the same wonderful stuff. One thing that hasn't changed from the past are the stars of the show. Aisha K. Staggers and Aisha LaLa Kia in the house. What is up?
Happy New Year.
Aisha, you're on mute. Don't put yourself on mute for a new year.
I was on mute because as the things were running around, my mic was still on, so I put it on mute, and I didn't want anyone to hear the knock on my door.
No, you didn't want to give it. So what has been going on, everybody? What's up? Oh, boy.
A much-needed rest. I'll say that. I had a much-needed rest. Took things really easy and just look, I was so into just not being on social media, not being in communication with anybody. I called Jill last week and I said, "Oh my God, Jill, I'm so sorry. I said I just forgot about you. I wanted to check on you on your arm." And
how is she doing? Well, how's she doing? Well, there's what leads into our first conversation, but how is she doing?
Yeah, physically she's healing. Okay. So we were able to chat last weekend before all of the fires and things erupted. Okay.
All right. Other than that, what did you do over the holiday season?
Hung out with family.
Oh, good.
That was it. Just hung out with family. I felt like it was kind of like being back during COVID because my whole family just kind of camped out together for the holidays. So, we did Christmas Eve at my sister's house. My sister had everything laid out nicely. And then Christmas Day at my grandmother's house. And then New Year's Eve at my mom's house. And, my cousin came over and just hung out with us on New Year's Eve. Everybody in their pajamas eating Chinese food and, eating the New Year. And it was so funny because I was supposed to take my cousin home because, my aunt and her two daughters, and her daughters are adult women, but they moved like down the street and around the corner from us, not far from us at all. And I was like, "Well, I'll drive you home." It was like Happy New.
Okay.
I basically got the word year out before I was out.
So did either of you go out for New Year's at all?
Yes.
Oh. So you're the party girl. Okay, Lala.
I don't like to go out. I love to stay home and watch Twilight Zone. That's my thing. But my husband is
on New Year's Eve, Twilight Zone.
I don't like crowds. I just don't like crowds. And usually my husband is playing somewhere. He's always part of a band. But this year, he didn't have that. So we went out and we watched the fireworks, and it was in a smaller town. So it wasn't really crowded. We rang in the new year with champagne and fireworks and just really enjoyed our time together. Our whole holiday, since he was off during that break, we just really snuggled in and just really reflected on the year and reflected on the blessings that we experienced in 2024, even though it's, you know, we always talk about things that are going on, there are still many things that we are extremely blessed about. And we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that and take that acknowledgement into the new year.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Aisha, because you were out on New Year's Eve. Aisha, did you wear your onesie during New Year's
Yes, I
Eve?
did. No, I didn't.
Why did I know that?
Wait, no, actually, I
Oh.
planned on it. No, my cousin actually had one on. I planned on wearing a onesie, but I ended up wearing something else. I think I was just like leggings and sweatshirt, like
Okay.
leggings and Fisk sweatshirt, right?
Here we go. Something's happening now. Oh, here we go.
Look at my new onesie.
Oh, Lord.
And it's got a tail.
Really? Really? A tail? A tail? A tail?
From Lilo and Stitch. Just Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. He's got ears.
No, I do remember what I wore. I wore Prince leggings and a Prince t-shirt because this is my favorite pair of leggings and my favorite t-shirt, and I could not find them for a long time. And so I just happened to go like in through the closet and like was pulling stuff out to wear a New Year's Day. And I was like, oh, I found this. Oh, I'm wearing this. And that's how that happened. So yeah.
Okay.
But I was
LaLa,
comfortable.
so this is a running thing, the onesies on this show, believe it or not, finally. So have you worn that onesie yet?
No, my hubby just got it for me today and surprised me. So yeah, after we're done with the show, it's time to chill. That's what I'll be wearing.
He's in love with you because he buys you onesies.
Yes, he does. He likes my onesie. And let's just remind you, I'm 54 and I could care less. I love my onesie.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn back to my onesies. As soon I went and got HRT. That is what I did. That was my New Year's resolution, and I did it.
Oh, wow.
And so, look, as soon as my body temperature gets regulated again, I'll be back in my onesies. Hormone replacement therapy.
Okay, that I was wondering. Sorry, I'm not educated on those acronyms or whatever you call them. All right. Okay. So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and you'll see me and LaLa because we oftentimes wear ours.
You know what? We should do an episode called The Onesies Show.
I would love it. I love it.
Okay, that's cool. So Chinese food. All right. Any other great meals over the holidays?
Oh my God, I ate stupid. I am so I am so strictly on my plan again, not even funny. I ate dumb. And I normally balance really good, but for some reason this year I was like, you know what? I'll have some of this and some of that, and some of this and that. And I just had, oh my gosh. By the time New Year rolled around, I was like, I can't eat another thing. Let me just chill.
You know what's so funny is that I have had so many stomach problems over the last couple of years, and I'm like, I'm just done with it. And I'm seeing a new doctor, and I'm like, I'm done with it. He said, well, in addition to, how we're gonna have to fix this, you're gonna have to fix what you take in. And so I've been like, I just like pulled everything out my diet and slowly putting things in. So like really focusing on, because for a while I was having trouble even digesting fruits and vegetables. So now I'm back to fruits and vegetables and things like that. But there are a lot of things that I just can't digest without stomach upset. So over the holiday, I was very mindful of that.
Okay.
Cool. But my sister's friend came over for Christmas Eve, and he made stewed chicken. He's from the island of Dominica.
Oh, stewed chicken. Oh.
And it was so, oh my God, it was so good. The chicken itself was good, but that gravy that it was in, oh my gosh, that with the rice.
It's one of the things I got to stay away from. Night chicken and rice with the gravy makes it. The gravy makes it.
Chicken and rice is like one of my favorite meals, period. It's comfort food for me. So anytime made any kind of way, chicken and rice makes me happy.
Well, look in the comment section. Fitness IQ Cam says, "Howdy, y'all," and
Hey,
also and she says, "Yeah, stew chicken." So another stew. It goes, "Happy New Year, ladies and gents." Thank you so much. Now the funny thing is, because we've had a switch in time, now it clashes when she has her show every Saturday. So she's probably not going to be here. She's not going to be here for that long, but she at least
thank you for coming.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you for jumping in. But yeah, I actually on Christmas Day we had a big family dinner, and all I had was salad, some turkey, and some cornbread. That was it. Salad first.
Christmas Day I didn't eat a lot.
Salad first, though. Salad always first, and then we did another big family get together on New Year's Day. A bunch of us went to a Korean barbecue restaurant.
Oh, nice.
Oh, now you know that. Now that is my favorite.
Korean.
Oh, Korean. I could eat Korean every single day.
Korean barbecue. Cook that food on the grill, on the hibachi thing. That was a wonderful experience. Well, you know what? There are people here because I didn't know. First of all, people would remember. Second of all, it's a shift in time. So there are people here. So that's a good thing. Well, remember, going forward, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Saturdays now. All right. All right. So let's go to break time. And when we come back, we are going to get into it. It's been a few weeks. Oh, look at this. Dusty Bunny. Who's Dusty Bunny? Hello, Dusty Bunny. His first time I've seen that name.
My friend. I know. New friend.
All right. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back. And it may be a new year, but there's still things that we're trying to figure out that are going on in America. So we'll be back in 30 seconds. Hold tight.
If the black dollar was not important, they wouldn't be doing these type of commercials to get your business back.
The same people who don't want gun checks, mental health checks, all for open carry. And when your kid gets shot in school, they offer thoughts and prayers. Make it make sense.
Y'all don't understand how our government works.
I think the lesson that we learned from that 4 years is how miserable people are. Their misery is contagious.
All right. New year, new things.
New favorite. I got to take a sip of my new favorite while we were on commercial, which is ginger beer.
Oh, ginger beer is
good.
But I had to find a diet one. Because I can't have the sugar, so I had to find one that was sugar free. And oh my god, I love it.
I haven't had it for a long time, but when I do it, I do homemade ginger beer.
Okay, I'm gonna need that recipe.
Okay.
Me too. Me too, because I love it.
Homemade ginger beer, and it's not that difficult to make, really and truly.
That's what I hear.
It's very simple to make. Very, very simple. Okay, so that's another to do on the list for 2025. Okay, all right. Nothing to do. All right, let's get down on it. I said I was gonna get to it. Get down on it. Get down on it. I was thinking about that. All right. So as always, some things you need to check out when you're not checking out us. Girlfriends Chat with Aisha, LaLa, and Jill Jones on Patreon. There is the link. Also, Primetime Saturday store. Buy some stuff. Support.
Got some new stuff.
Yes. Join the Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. And also subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. And also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And also to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I put this on, email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. All right. New year. And actually, I was talking with Dr. Tachi. She said, I want to give back my receipts for 2025 already. She said she's already had enough. She's already had enough of 2025. But big story that's happening right now, the California wildfires and the response. Let's talk about it. Go ahead, ladies.
It's just
sorry. Go ahead, Aisha.
It's very tragic. I have very little to say on this, so I'm gonna just go quickly because Lala has a lot more to say because she's lived out there. It's just very tragic, and my prayers go out to everyone there. I think we need to do everything that we can to help people. People are going to need a lot more resources, and that I hope that not just the incoming administration, but this new Congress will continue to support the people of Los Angeles. Um, because they're going to need it longer than just this couple of months.
I have a lot to say because that was my home for over 12 years. And that was also my business. And I helped many, many people purchase homes in Los Angeles. I still do. I just closed one last week. I have 4 clients who have lost their homes in these areas, in the Altadena area, because at one time that was pretty much affordable. And one of them has told me all that he has, because he didn't have time. It happened so fast, was the clothes on his back. And so we are shattered about that. And so I've been helping them find places, which is when tragedies like this happen, people come together. There are a lot of Airbnb places that are offering their homes. And so my clients were able to find some places to hang their hat until they could get back and see the complete devastation that happened. One thing that I will not focus on right now, because it makes me very angry, and this is not the time, is all of the political bickering, all of the Christian bickering. And what I mean by that is people saying that this is what they get. This is what happens when you don't do what God wants, shame on you. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, you would want the assistance yourself. You have no idea what it feels like to lose every last piece of clothing, article, memories in your life. Are things a little upside down? Yes, they are. There were a lot of different things that happened that weren't expected. A lot of blame is being placed on people when honestly, you can't blame fire unless someone set them, which I truly believe is what happened. You just can't blame the mayor. You can't blame the governor. You can't listen. Let's all focus on helping these people get back on their feet. I am proud of my president. Our president did step in quickly, and he is going to be handling things for at least 180 days, 100%. But this is going to go beyond a year. This is going to be beyond 2 years. This is going to be a very long time in rebuilding. And let's not forget, they were planning on doing the Olympics there. So we have a lot of that going on. But I want to make it a point to direct you to my website. It's www.laurahe.net. On my main page, you will see a button that says resources, LA Fire Resources. There is an ongoing spreadsheet, and it is long, and they have listed everywhere that can be a shelter, everywhere that pets can go. They've listed places where you can go and donate. They've listed links where you can go and donate. And it is an all-encompassing spreadsheet that I'm very happy that someone put together. So we're all sharing them out. But let's not forget that we need to be human in these times. We'll worry about political, we'll worry about spiritual, we'll worry about what else later. Because right now people are suffering and people are still dying. And our firefighters, you want to talk about superheroes. That's exactly what they are. And many firefighters around the world, Mexico, Africa, Canada, you name it, they're all coming to the aid of what is being called out for Los Angeles. Now, a lot of people are confused about how Los Angeles is, but I want to explain it a little bit, because when you think of Los Angeles, you think of just Hollywood and you think of Beverly Hills. You may think of Malibu, and if you love Snoop Dogg, you think of Long Beach. However, LA is
a city of cities, and they're all under one umbrella. If you're under Los Angeles County, you are still considered Los Angeles. That includes Pacific Palisades, Long Beach, San Pedro. All these areas that are in the fire are still under the umbrella of Los Angeles. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Los Angeles is so big that Pacific Palisades is about 25, 30, 40 miles away from Altadena. This is how large this county is. So when we say these fires are coming from all around, it's like they're enclosed around the city and burning inward. So you have to understand that this is a large, large area. Yes, there have been arsonists that have been arrested. People get triggered. Some people who are arsonists, you know, they may have seen the fires and decided they wanted to jump in on it too. Right now, we don't know the source. All we know is the people need the help. And that's what I am asking you. That's what I am really begging you for, is to be compassionate. Go to that spreadsheet. Find something that you can do. The American Red Cross is an excellent one. I always refer to them because they always do good with their money. So if you want to donate, go to the American Red Cross. We are not just talking about rich people. I want you to understand that. People are thinking Pacific Palisades, all the rich people. No. Do you understand that there are many elderly people who have bought in these areas and have never sold?
Yeah.
And some of the houses aren't even up to date on the inside. They just look cute on the outside. These people are suffering as well. So get out of your head and just become human. Put that away and offer your help.
I'm glad you explained it, because in our private chat, I explained to Lala and Jill that I'm like, can you explain this to me? Because when you come from like a place like the East Coast, for example, like Connecticut, we have counties, but we don't operate on our county system because we only have 6 counties, but we've got like 300 some odd cities and towns, right? So the cities and towns are the cities and towns that they are. Yeah, New Haven County has a bunch of cities and towns, but each one has different mayors. Los Angeles County has those little cities, but they all have the one mayor, which was something that I couldn't wrap my head around, because I'm like, well, like to me, when I figured people were saying Los Angeles County, I thought they were talking about a county made up of a bunch of different cities, rather than the county is the city that's made up of a bunch of, it'd be like if all the neighborhoods and zip codes in my town actually had their own governance, but didn't have, had this larger overarching governance, which we don't. We have a mayor and we have aldermen that represent, but we also don't have our own fire departments by neighborhood. They're all, the city. Like, for example, like the Palisades, I was hearing someone talk about, well, we have our fire people here that, our Palisades tax dollars go to pay for. It doesn't operate like that in my city. So even in my neighborhood, our tax dollars go to pay for everybody, everybody in the entire city. So it's like, she had to explain that to me. And I think once
It's
people
like a puzzle. It's just like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm. And I told her the easiest way I could think of it to make sense to me, someone like this, is how New York City has 5 boroughs. And even though each borough has a borough president, and that borough president is represented in the city, in City Hall, but Mayor Adams is the mayor of all of New York City, which includes the 5 boroughs, Queens, Bronx, all of that.
It's quite.
Let me say one more thing, because it's really important to understand that there's a lot of these fires that are still 0% contained.
Isn't the maximum like 8% contained? It's like maximum containment is like 8%.
Yeah, and it was kind of way out in the valley, and they were able to get a hold of that, but it's still burning. And the thing,
more than just one fire, too. I think
there's more than
one fire. I think a lot of people are, because the way that news is irresponsibly reporting this, right? They're reporting this as if it is one fire
Only
that's
one
taking
fire.
over an entire city when it's a lot of fires in
So when
different
I
places.
say, when I explain that it is the perimeter, everything around the perimeter is LA City
Oh,
proper, middle. Then you have all these underlying areas on the outside, starting at the ocean with Pacific Palisade, going inland to Pasadena, Altadena. This is all going in like a circle. Now it hasn't touched the southern part, like Long Beach or San Pedro, where I live. All those areas down there seem to be pretty safe, but the valley and Pasadena is off to the inland north. Yes, this is like a C is for cookie, okay, and it's coming right in.
Yeah. And a lot of people that live like in the valley and Van Nuys are not very wealthy people.
No, and not only that, you have to consider that these fires are putting out a lot of smoke. The air quality is absolutely horrendous.
If you have asthma, my God. That is one of the reasons why I did want to keep checking on Jill, because she's got very bad asthma.
Oh boy. A lot of comments, and I'm happy to see a lot of the family, the regular families in the house. So Regina Fries, Happy New Year. Good back to you, Regina. Fitness IQ says, my friend lost her family home and her elderly are not mobile, and it breaks my heart. She also says, my heart goes out to everyone. Regina says Sheila E. lost her home.
No, that she did not.
Oh.
She actually came out today because someone posted a false report with her picture on it saying that we lost everything. And she immediately came out on her threads and said, no, we did not. We are safe. My family is safe. Someone did this and it was not my post.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of that because people are going to start grifting.
Okay.
Whenever there's a tragedy like that, people start the grift. And one of the easiest ways to start the grift is to start a social media post, say you're a celebrity, and then start with your GoFundMe's. And it's evil. I've seen this done. I've seen people do it. It's very evil.
Also, Fitness IQ says, Lala, that's the area she told me about. Dusty Bunny says the Christian fear-mongering.
Fear-mongering.
I said fear-mongering. Should I read fear-mongering? JJ Mars, what is up, JJ Mars? I was hoping you'd be here today. He says the Santa Ana winds are no joke.
Yeah, they're no joke
to deal with. Regina also says Santa Ana winds killed my cousin and his fiance in oh my gosh.
No.
Oh my gosh, in 1982. Our condolences on that, Regina. My gosh. Oh wow.
Nationally, the wind has been terrible in the U.S. all week. So the wind has been a problem over the whole country, across the whole country.
Okay,
so
I'm so sorry. Let me interrupt real quick. I'm so very sorry, Aisha. Mm-hmm. I am actually looking on Sheila's page, and now it looks like this is Sheila officially saying that she has lost her home.
Oh wow.
Before someone said that it was her and it wasn't.
No, well, Regina was saying that she had lost home, and then Lala said no, that wasn't the case. But now fact checking is being done from Sheila E herself online. She has lost her home. Wow.
These winds have been terrible all week across the entire country. So I can only imagine the additional havoc it's causing and the challenge in putting these fires out. One thing I can say is this. To Lala's point at the very top, when she said, now is not the time to deal with the social issues. Here's my problem. We have a whole political party in this country that is trying to politicize a national tragedy. They do that at every time. Now, here is my biggest issue with how they're doing it. When there's a mass shooting, when Newtown happened in this backyard here, and people in the state said, we have to do something about gun violence. People were saying, oh, now's not the time to talk about it. It's a tragedy. Offer your thoughts and prayers. Now's not the time to point fingers and blame. But this thing here, people are like, Can we just have prayers and assistance? And these people are like, oh no, we're going to start pointing fingers because this is a DEI issue gone wrong, and this is the reason why. And people live like charlatans out in California, so nobody deserves this. Period. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. Your racism should not cloud your ability to be a human. Be a damn human. And you can't sit there and talk about how you walk in faith and walk in the Lord while you are condemning people who are suffering to hell. Something is fundamentally wrong with you. And I'm so sick of it. This is why I haven't watched the newscast much on the fires in particular, and been getting my information from people on the ground, because every time it goes in the news, they have to say, well, so-and-so said that it's this person's fault, and then this person did this and did it. I don't care. What I care about is how you are preventing people from losing their homes, and people who are now unhomed. Where are they? Is there places for them to stay? Are they able to connect with their families? How are you reaching them? Are people who have diabetes and things like that, and serious medical issues, are they able to get their medications? What if they have medications that are being mailed to them, and they have no home or residence to go? Where do they get them? And then, is their insurance going to be, a jackass about refilling a prescription that was already filled, but that was sent, but they couldn't get to because there was a fire? Because we know that's
people are not thinking about everyday simple things that they're so used to doing. Now those who are affected by these fires can't even do that. They don't have the luxury of doing these simple things. And then once again, I'm going to have to give you another update because I went down through all of Sheila's page. Sheila actually said 8 hours ago, my house remains intact, but my city's spirit is shattered. I've seen homes of friends turn to ashes. My sorrow is for my people, not myself. Please keep them in your prayers. That was her exact words from her page.
All right, I'm just going to catch up with some comments here. JJ Mars says, Regina Frizz, sorry to hear that. Also, she says, thanks. He was flying from the coast Marine base over the San Bernardino Mountains on the way to the base in Barstow. The Santa Ana winds cropped up and slammed the plane into a mountainside. Oh my God.
That's how strong they are.
Good Lord.
Wow. I hope anyone who's watching this live or on replay or listening, just think about how powerful those winds are. If it could take a plane in flight and slam it into a mountainside.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Regina says, she says, I saw it on her Facebook site. Oh, obviously Lala's updated. Also, Regina says, Scott Jennings was blathering about DEI yesterday. Bleach.
Scott Jennings is always blathering about something racist, and I'm just waiting for someone on CNN to call him a racist to his face and just shut him up. Here's the bottom line is this: it doesn't even matter at this point. The fires are started. You know what? Guess what? It's like with everything else. They can deal with what went wrong and how it went wrong and who's to blame later. What they need to focus on is what I said to Lala and Jill in our personal chat, is to contain, console, restore, rebuild. Rebuilding is the last thing people should be talking about. The first thing is containing the fires and consoling the people who've lost everything and making sure that people are getting what they need, restoring people back to you're never going to restore people back to what they had pre-fire, but at least restore what you can. This means making sure that they have the proper access to food and healthcare and shelter, making sure that they are able to connect with insurance companies, and well, we see how that's going to go with some of these insurance companies canceling policies, but making sure that they're able to connect with family members, and that, you know, if they have pets, that they're okay, that they're, you know, they're not concerned about their pets are taken care of. So there are so many other things to be concerned about, rather than who we point the fingers at, and oh, should the fire chief be a female or not, and, you know, just go away.
Read the room. People are losing their lives, and they're losing absolutely everything. I also want to hit on something that you brought up, Aisha, is about the insurance. Now, I am going to explain how this works. In California, we have so many earthquakes, we have so many wildfires, things of that nature, that it is one of the hardest states ever to get insurance. A lot of my new clients who are purchasing homes only have one option, because so many insurance companies have pulled out of California, as well as Florida and Texas and Louisiana. Those are the states that usually get hit the most with natural disasters. All right. And so you're forced to take this one option for this insurance, which barely covers anything. It's only enough for you to get a house, because when you buy a home, you must have home insurance. That is it. I do want to bring up the fact that State Farm decided they were going to cancel a whole lot of people. And where did they cancel, guys? The most? Pacific Palisades. They've canceled over 1,628 policies just this last summer. And let me be very clear about this. The CEO makes $25 million.
Mm.
And now these people have to suffer with subpar insurance. Or if you don't really have, like if you don't have a mortgage, some people can skate by with not having insurance at all, because the insurance is so expensive. Sometimes it's way higher than just your principal and your interest on your home, as well as the taxes. So these are the things that are happening. As these fires were raging, insurance companies was like, nope, bye, and just left. So now we'll have to sort through that too. I'm praying that the government will step in and make them do what they need to do. But let's be honest, it will bankrupt a lot of them. Do I have faith in this new administration coming in? No, I do not. Because first of all, he does not he hates Newsom, period.
It's
And he
California, period.
hates anybody in California, which is very interesting to me, because he still has some dedicated cronies there, so that you wouldn't worry about them. So trying my very best to keep the politics out of it, I want you to understand not only the devastation of it physically and mentally and spiritually for these people. Now they have to look at the financial ruins that could happen, and if they can even rebuild at all.
Politics involved in everything in that country.
Well, it's about to get a lot worse.
Okay. JJ Marr says home insurance companies' rates will skyrocket. Some companies will probably go out of business. Lala, is that agreed?
It's totally agreed. Matter of fact, like I said, it's only one or two options when you're buying a house now.
Wow. JJ Mars also says some companies will write certain clauses in the policy to define some disasters as an act of God and avoid any claims.
Well, you're going to see that happen more. The more insurance companies are going to be forced to dealing with climate disasters. So, for example, you're talking about in the Southeast, you're going to see, you're already seeing, like Florida, that with the hurricane insurance, they're not covering floods and all of that. In the Northeast, eventually they are going to get to a point where they will not cover snow damage. And part of
it's not just California right now who's suffering through a lot of things. You have a lot of people in the Midwest, like in Kentucky, they're buried under ice and snow.
Yeah.
So we are dealing with both extremes at the same time. They're just not getting the attention. North Carolina's going through some shit right now. Major shit.
Well, that's right. That's right. Right before this happened, there was a major snowstorm that hit the Midwest and mid-Atlantic. And I mean, they got so much snow. It was like my best friend is a principal in Maryland, and they close schools there. Like, they never close schools there for snow because that's how rarely they get it. And like, people think, oh, well, snow can't cause a whole. Well, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
it
it
can.
can.
Let me tell you something. Don't park your car on a public street that has to be plowed with snow, because if the plow rips your car door off your car, your insurance company will not cover it. And ask me how I know that. So yeah, so those kinds of things happen. You have to watch out. Trees all over the place. The heavy ice and trees. So the South, the Midwest, they're getting ripped apart. It's bad. It is bad. And the only
And
people
don't
who get
forget
it,
that they warm up a little bit and all that snow starts to melt. And when those
it's gonna
temperatures
flood.
go right back down, it's nothing but ice.
Yep. And then once it does melt, it's gonna flood.
Okay, we got to move on, unfortunately, but Regina says Malibu has been totaled several times by mudslides and fires. Is it wise to rebuild there, especially if insurance companies won't insure? Lala?
I don't think that it is, but that's somebody's personal preference. At home in Kentucky, I grew up on the Ohio River. Every single year, that river would rise and it would ruin these same houses every single year, full of mud. And what would they do? They'd build right there. Some people do not want to move. Maybe that was their childhood home. Maybe they don't want to do that. Some people still want to live in affluent areas that, hey, I live in Malibu. That's something personal to them. But for myself, and I would never go back there.
In lieu of time, we have to move on, but I have a feeling we'll be chatting about this for a while.
Oh yeah.
And,
Once the fires are contained, we will have to revisit the conversation, because then people will start talking about the blame.
all right. And again, if anyone wants to donate, Lala has a great amount of resources. It's on the screen here and on all the platforms except Lala's. It's in your comments section. I put information on helping California wildfire victims. Well, New Year, same shenanigans. 47 sentenced to unconditional discharge in New York hush money case.
Okay, I get that Mershon was trying to do something, because remember, before he said he wasn't going to sentence him at all, and then he changed his mind apparently over the break. But he didn't have to give him an unconditional discharge. He could have given him a conditional discharge. He could have given him probation. If anything, like someone said earlier, I forgot who it was, a commentator said that, you know what, he could have told him for the next 14 days until you are sworn in. I mean, the next 10 days until you're sworn in, you have to pick up trash on the side of the East Side Highway every day. Okay. Something, right? Something. Something. Just, you have to do something. I guess some legal scholars have said the good thing about this is that now that he's been convicted and sentenced, even though there was no actual punishment, the sentence means that the conviction follows him wherever, and that's something that he wanted to avoid. And I'm sure it is, because he's still trying to appeal. But the bottom line is that he got what he wanted. He wanted to run for president, so to stay out of jail, and America gave Trump what he wanted.
So
And
here's
they're going to screw themselves already.
So here's what's interesting to me, and I have lost all faith in everything. I always tried to hold a candle of hope, and I see that that's not going to happen. But when you are a convicted felon, I don't care who you are not allowed to go into certain states, Canada, Mexico, many of the EU states. So are they going to still allow him to do this? And what kind of message does that send to the people? Since you're a convicted felon and you got to vote and you got to do all that, what about the people who are convicted felon in everyday life? I guess y'all don't matter, because you're not rich, or you're not a crony, because I really don't believe Trump is rich either. But you're not a con man or whatever. Even if you're a convicted felon, you still should be able to live a regular life with no punishment. So what kind of message does this send? How is the world going to receive this? Will some of these places stand up and say, no, you can't come to our country? Because if they set that precedent, you might as well set the world on fire.
Yeah. And I think that's the question too, right? At the bare minimum, he should have to wear an ankle bracelet for as long as the sentence would have been, right? He's got a parole officer. How does this man function as a world leader and go to different countries and world conferences when he has to check in with his probation officer first?
Listen, the probation officer is probably now going to need Secret Service too. So now we done got another bill to pay for somebody following his con ass.
Well, notice the probation officer was the one person that he did not trash. And for that reason is because he was still worried that he might end up with some prison time, because the probation officer would have been the person to help determine that. But at this point, it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't see any other world leader looking at him and saying, I'm sorry, it's very hard for me to respect you. Even though your title says president, you're a convicted felon. And my country, we don't allow criminals from other countries in. The same way that you complained about how the immigrants, they're letting in all the criminals, we don't let in criminals either. So you can't come.
I think Mexico will stand firm for real, because
She's dead serious.
She don't play with him. But
She
now
is
that we
standing
have
on business.
Trudeau stepped down, we don't know what's going to happen with Canada.
Well,
Oh yeah,
but
but you guys are going to be claiming us as your 51st state.
But remember,
I hope
too,
y'all
those things too are just his way of distracting. If I throw out, I want Canada to be the first state, Greenland, Denmark, Panama Canal.
I just want to interrupt. You notice the day he did that? What day did he do that?
The day that they announced that he was going to be sentenced.
No, he did that on January 6th.
Of course.
The anniversary of the insurrection. So divert.
And that was also the day that it broke that Mershon was going to sentence him.
There you go.
But here's the other thing. He said that, yeah, but the reason that he's even talking it up more now is because he doesn't want people to know that these Republicans in this quote unquote immigration bill, they're trying to do a one package deal, which will cut food assistance to needy families. It will cut Medicaid and Medicare. It will cut Social Security. And it will make the tax cuts to the wealthy people, who will be his entire cabinet. The 1,000 wealthy people in the United States, his entire cabinet, minus Beyonce. It will incorporate all of those people, minus Beyonce and Oprah. All the other rich people are in his cabinet. And it will make those tax cuts for them permanent. Period. And so while you have all these pundits talking about, what is he talking about? He sounds crazy, this and that. He's saying all those things. But here's the scarier part. Project 2025, y'all, is still on the table. He's saying these crazy things, and guess what? They're letting him, because guess why? It sounds crazy, and it sounds crazy enough that once they're sworn in, JD Mans can say, this man is crazy. Do you hear all these things he's talking about? He sounds crazy. We are going to have to do a 25th Amendment on him because he's not well. Look at he did 2 press conferences in the last week, and they both sounded crazy, insane, deranged. Someone asked him about him and Barack Obama talking during the funeral, and this man says, yeah, see, we were backstage. While we were backstage, it was a funeral. Dude, you weren't going on a TV show. So this man is talking a whole lot of crazy stuff because he's trying to get people to not look at the fact that he's going to be a convicted felon sworn into office the first time in this country. He's trying to get people not to look at this one push bill that they're trying to push through. It's got immigration in it, so they think it's going to be, that's the thing that they're going to talk about. That's the shiny object that they want people to talk about. They're not going to talk about all the things that it cuts that the people that voted for him depend on.
Regina asked, does he have a probation officer?
Yep. He sure does. Well, he's not on probation, but he does have he has a parole officer.
Okay. JG Mar says,
but the thing is that because this is a unconditional discharged after a certain period of time, the conviction stands, but he's not gonna have to report to anybody.
Okay, JJ Morris says MAGA morons were mad at Vivek and Elon regarding immigration policy being modified, but conservative media has shifted attention to other things.
Right. And let's be
Green-
very clear, they're not mad at the immigration policy being modified, because if that immigration policy was to bring people from Norway and Sweden and all that stuff, they'd have no problem with it. The problem that they have more than anything is that this man, Vivek Ramaswamy, told white people that they were dumb.
Okay. Also, green-eyed baby, I always get this wrong.
Green-eyed baby.
Green-eyed baby says, I thought discharge meant wipe the charges out. That would mean he doesn't have a record at all. Does E. Jean Carl still get paid?
She gets paid.
He does get paid because that appeal did not go through. But the discharge doesn't. It gets wiped out after a period of time. I forgot how they explained it yesterday, but they said that the sentencing solidifies the fact that he is a felon. Period.
Yeah.
He can appeal it, but it goes on his permanent record as a felony. He is a felon. Period.
But y'all, okay, listen.
Yeah.
Can we just stop pretending like that even makes a damn difference?
Nope.
The man embraced the fact that he's a fucking convicted felon. He had it put on t-shirts. His cronies had, I'm voting for the convicted felon. So let's just be very honest that guess what? It's not going to make one iota of a difference. It's going to be interesting to see how the world reacts. But for America, they're the one who put him there. So guess what? Somebody else worry about it.
Well, that will be, here's the thing. That will be what will be the shock to everyone, is how the rest of the world is going to receive this convicted felon, because they're going to expect that because these idiots in this country were able to look the other way at him being a felon and still put him back in office. Other countries aren't the same. And I think Americans are people that have to learn the hard way. Just like these people, when they go overseas and they break a law and they realize, well, it's not illegal where I'm from. Well, guess what? You're not at home. So our rules stand. You don't, it's that kind of thing. So it's like he might feel like he can go to France, but Macron can say, our laws are that we don't let, you won't make it past customs, dude. Sorry.
Green-eyed.
You've got countries like South Korea who have embraced the whole political shenanigans and have already drank the Kool-Aid over there because of their elections. They got MAGA hats over there talking about stop the steal. So look at how this whole world has changed. And, I sit back and watch it very closely now because it's absolutely amazing. It sounds like it's some freaking Hollywood movie, but we are actually living in it. And what we have done in America is also influencing other countries who are going down the same line. So billionaires are running amok, my friends, and not just in America.
Yeah. And I mean, and think of it. I mean, remember, Donald Trump treats the presidency like it's a TV show. He keeps saying that this is season 2 after a 4-year hiatus. This is the reboot, okay? This is 45, the reboot, 47. And he has a new cast of characters. And think about it. Anytime anyone asks him, how did you pick someone? He's like, oh yeah, they came right out of central casting. What the hell does that mean to people outside of Hollywood? I don't need someone out of central casting to run the Department of Education or to run the Department of Justice. And the sadder part about this are these reports. Jack Smith is prepared to release all the reports on Donald Trump. Now, mind you, Eileen Cannon overstepped her bounds there, trying to put a stay on all of them. But yes, the January 6th one's going to come out. But Merrick Garland has here will be the footnote. Who was the worst political person between 2017 and 2025? It would not be Donald Trump. It will be Merrick Garland, because Merrick Garland had many. He had 4 years of opportunities to deal with that man, and he chose not to. Even to this final stretch where it's like, dude, at this point, they're talking about you're not talking about you're not going to release the documents case because these other two people, it could influence their case. Did you forget that Eileen Cannon threw the whole case out? Dismissed the whole case,
Right.
including theirs?
Let me get some comments in. Green Idol Baby says the world is happy because he can't travel. Regina says, I agree with LaLa. Magats embrace his mugshot on their t-shirt. Dr. Tachi's in the house. What is up, Dr. Tachi? What is going on?
Hey, Dr. Tachi.
And Regina says, greetings, Dr. Tachi. Also, Regina, you said you sent me your email address. Where did you send it to me? I don't remember. I've been trying to find it right now while this is going on. I can't remember where you sent it to me. Green-eyed little baby says, excuse me, Dr. Vibe, thank you. Happy New Year to all of you. I find it funny some parts of Africa is kicking Elon out, especially his business.
Should be.
They should. Well, they should.
All right. So we are, as fam, we are watching the first brand new episode of 2025 of Primetime Saturday with Aisha LaLa. And as you see, there's nothing to talk about. The world's been so quiet in 2025. All right. Speaking of this, the peaceful transfer of power from Biden to 47.
January 6th came and went. Nothing happened. Kamala Harris did her black job, and she did her black job so well, she made that shriveled up prune of a man, Bruce Fisher, so angry he couldn't. He didn't
look at her. He didn't
next to her.
He didn't look at her. He wouldn't shake her hand. He wouldn't nothing. But
yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, but I want to say something on this. Okay, listen, I'm gonna be very, very honest. Yes, I think that's despicable and gross. But if you make me get something from Trump, I'm not shaking his hand either. Matter of fact, I ain't showing up. So in the way I understand, and I don't like it, but you know what? If it would, I have to think about and put my own self in my shoes. I wouldn't, if that was me and Trump, no, I wouldn't be there.
But see, here's the whole thing of it. It'd be different. It's one thing if it was just him hating Democrats. He shook Joe Biden's hand when Joe Biden swore her in, when Joe Biden was vice president. That's when that happened. Somebody rolled the clip of him shaking Pence's hand, shaking Joe Biden's hand. His contempt was held for this black woman.
Yep, there's a different narrative then.
His contempt was held for this black. Even his wife was like, "Move closer, and he just would not. And Kamala Harris, the way that she handled it was so funny. Just that look on her face, like right, what is wrong with him? as if it's like, dude, he wanted her to feel his contempt, but he didn't want the rest of the world to see it. And the rest of the world saw it. But not only that, he wanted his contempt to make her mad, and it didn't work. And her contempt was just like, oh well, it's all bigoted,
whatever.
So
which is bothering. I'm gonna tell you right now, my man is bothered by that right now as we're speaking about it. He is really bothered that he didn't get the reaction that he wanted from her.
Oh yeah. I loved it when she said to him, I don't bite. I'm not gonna bite you. I don't bite, Bruce.
All right, just an update. Regina, can you email me again? Because I'm checking my email box. I don't see it. I've checked my spam. You should have, I don't know where. So you'll see my email address anyways before the end, but no problem. Dr. Tachi says, Regina, hey, friend. Also, look who's here. Jen Myers. I made it, everyone. Sorry so late. Was away from my phone for a while. Green-eyed says,
I texted Jen. I'm like, Dan, don't forget. It's 5 o'clock tonight.
5 o'clock. Yes, Green-eyed says, he's a college professor, which makes it worse. A grown blank man acting like a 5-year-old. Dr. Chachi says, better for her. Who wants to touch that decrepit, racist,
Thank
wildebeest hand anyways?
And you know,
Don't be saying
I
them
gotta tell you
cooties
something.
over here.
No, but I gotta tell you something. Here's another way to look at it. His wife hates him because his wife did everything to make it obvious that he was being a child.
Yeah,
You know,
she really was. I have to admit, yeah, she did. She
she's
was like,
"Go,
"What's
move
wrong
over,
with you?"
get closer, Bruce. Get closer, Bruce." And then when his excuse could have been, "I'm holding the Bible and my cane, so I can't shake her hand," she's like, "Brucey, let me take your Bible." So his hand was available, right? His wife hates him.
Oh my gosh. Regina says, well, Pence's wife refused to acknowledge 47.
We're gonna get to that.
Stop
We're gonna get
it.
to, I
Stop
want
it.
when we talk about Jimmy
Carter.
Carter, we
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
have to get to that because she stood on business.
All
Her,
right.
her and Michelle.
All right. And Regina says, which was great. She goes, which
Yes.
was great. All right. What else we want to talk about when it comes to this subject?
It was, okay, here's the thing. It was a peaceful thing of power. The on the right, they want to explain and be like, oh my gosh, ha ha ha, Kamala Harris, ha ha ha, she had to certify her loss, ha 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 ha. Well, guess what? Guess who else had to do that? Mike Pence.
Yes.
Guess who else had to do that?
Yeah,
Al
they act
Gore.
like this ain't nothing, something new.
Al Gore. Guess who else had to do that? Dan Quayle. There are actually more Republicans in the last couple of years who had to do that than there were Democrats. Okay.
Where is he now? Quayle, what is he doing?
Dan Quayle was at the funeral. You just wouldn't recognize him because he doesn't look the way he did in the 80s. The last thing you remember is seeing Dan Quayle not being able to spell potato with that flippant hairdo, and he looked like an idiot. Well, he looks like an old idiot now, and he pretty much has stayed out of public life.
I was wondering because I was like,
oh, you know who else wasn't at the funeral? When we get to it, Dick Cheney.
Well, of course. But we'll wait on that.
Wow.
That was some family politics right there, okay?
Well, I didn't watch much of it, but I did see the photo that all the former presidents had their hand over their heart except one person.
Except the one looking at the Tweety bird in the air.
Jeez. Dr. Tachi says the nonverbal communication at Carter's funeral was something else. We're gonna get to that.
Dynamics at funerals are always so interesting.
Funerals and weddings are always some of the most interesting times to watch people in action. Always some of the most interesting times. All right, let's move to another interesting story. Meta to end fact-checking program on Facebook, Instagram, and the US. And I also know that Dr. Tachi, who's in the comments live, will have something to say about this. But ladies, go for it.
I told you the billionaires are running amok. You are talking about an idiot who is so happy that he doesn't have to be underneath somebody's thumb anymore. He didn't waste no time. He announced the DEI is out the door, effective immediately. Now ain't no fact checking. He's been talking to Musk, but Musk has been talking to him from the very beginning. This is nothing new. And unfortunately,
$1 million that he donated to the inauguration.
Thank you.
So
$1 million.
So we know where all this is coming from, and then putting a Trump loyalist on your board. I mean, basically, then just give Facebook over to Trump. Okay, let it become Trump book, because at this point you are surrendering. Since
not surrendering, he's getting what he wants.
So since Donald Trump's going to control most of social media in this country, and then TikTok won't be a thing. I think that they're moving from fact checking to community notes. But remember, community notes are not facts. People get to spin them however they want to. Somebody can attach a community note to what you said because they don't like it, or because they read somewhere else that this wasn't true, when what they read might not necessarily be a fact in and of itself. So the fact checking, then you know what? Then if that is the case, and you're not going to fact check or anything anymore, you should not be protected under what you said you were protected before.
Exactly.
Under free speech, by saying, well, we consider ourselves the same kind of digital publication as a news platform. That is why Facebook got out of being regulated in the first freaking place, because they said that they were equivalent to news platforms, so that they couldn't be regulated.
That he had to go sit himself in front of Congress.
But they said,
and now he's throwing a tantrum
under the First Amendment because they were like news platforms. Well, guess what? News platforms, they have a code of ethics, and part of that code of ethics is that they fact check. That is what they're supposed to do. Now, for example, Fox News, that's entertainment. We all know that. That is not a news organization, even though they get a pass for being one. They don't fact check. And when people do fact check them, they get very upset and in their feelings. And then they run to then they run to social media where they can speak and spew all this lies and hatred that they want without, guess what, being fact checked.
So y'all don't see the pattern? I'm trying to say.
Right. So basically, let me tell you something. I don't post on these so much. I look at them. I scroll. I look what's on them. Facebook, I can't even get into my Facebook, so that's a long story. I can look at it, but I can't even get into it. I can look at it from outside. I look at Instagram just to look at the videos and things that people post and tell me about. But other than that, Facebook, X, I can't deal with them, and they're about to get a whole lot more toxic now that the racists can say what they want and spew what they want. And what kills me is Mark Zuckerberg feels no sense of responsibility. He is the most dangerous kind of evil, because he has this power. He has this power here, and he has no conscience. And beyond that, I look at this thing between him and Elon Musk, and then Vivek and Elon trying to run government, and I'm like, we are literally living in a nerd's fever dream right now, where if you ask them the thing that they want more than anything, the people who weren't popular anywhere in high school or anywhere in life, the one thing that they wanted more than anything, they would trade money, they would trade power for, to be popular. And now here they are, popular, and they don't even know what to do with it.
They don't.
So instead, they're arguing with each other and trying to one up each other, and the rest of us are looking at them like, you are a bunch of fucking weirdos.
Me personally, I'm over it. Listen, here's the thing. I get fact checked, and I'm prepared. I'm going to get community notes on every damn post that I have, because I post Black history every single freaking day, and I can't tell you how many times I get notifications. You're distressing people. How the hell am I distressing people? Tell the truth. Well, it's because they don't want any of our history to be out there, and that is my whole purpose of posting it. So if y'all are my friend on Facebook and y'all suddenly see me gone, you know why.
But guess what? Complain about that, because now it say, wait a second. You said that you are not fact checking, so people's feelings are not facts.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so we got some comments here. Dr. Tachi says it's a dangerous thing when you let the public set the standard for the truth,
especially when our public doesn't know the difference between truth, misinformation. From all the things that they're told, no one in this public sphere knows the truth anymore.
Carlos Phoenix, long time no chat. Carlos Good says he says that Facebook is a comedy, or whatever. Fox is comedy channel. Regina says he did an interview with Rogan. Liar and thief. Big surprise. Stole the idea for the social network from the Winklevoss twins.
Yes.
JJ Marr said, I've said it before. Presidents 47 and Elon are a great example of American kleptocracy in motion. Yeah. Regina, Dr. Tachi says, Regina Ferris says yes. And then Dr. Tachi says, well, as I said, I'm minding my Black business and eating a bowl of jollof rice with a spoon.
And here's my tea.
I love jollof rice. I love it. Like I said, that chicken. I love rice and chicken. Any kind of rice and chicken.
Dana White on the board.
But all kidding aside, let's be very honest about something that we already know, because we've already seen it. We laugh, we get upset, but guess what? Trump has always been the one who thinks if anybody is trying to even get any of his limelight, he will put his foot down immediately. All these people who think that they are going to get something from him have a real true slap in the face coming. Your time is ticking. You're okay right now. But the minute that D doesn't see you have any use for him, you will be slapped down, just like everybody else was in the first administration, where we didn't even have somebody even serve all the way through. So let's be very honest and they're all a ticking time bomb, because they're all going to go bye-bye too after they get what they want, of course. But once Trump says, hey, I don't need you no more, which he's already slapped Musk and said for him to stay in his lane.
Not hard enough, because guess what? Trump got slapped back by Musk, and Musk said, "I bought you."
There you
So,
go.
and not only that, Trump. The other reason that Trump is not going to speak so much is because if the E. Jean Carroll thing held, likely the money to New York is going to hold. He's going to need somebody to pay that. So he's going to be really nice to Musk until them tabs get paid. Once those tabs get paid, then Musk will be told about himself.
Yes.
And
but he's strategic about everything he does. He taps everybody for as much as he can get from them, and then he discards them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More comments. Green Eyed says, "Are you guys on Blue Sky? I left Twitter and its Blue Sky is so much better. We need a replacement for Facebook." Aisha said, "Yes, I am on Blue Sky." She is. And so am I. And Dr.
I reached my 1,000. I reached my 1,000 followers before Christmas too.
All right. Dr. Chad says, "Green Eyed indeed. I left X for Blue Sky last year."
Yep.
Yes, Blue Sky. I got to give it some more time. Green Eyed says, "Yes, great. I'll follow you guys. I'm under Valencia Weaver." Okay, what an interesting name. Where did that tagline, Valencia Weaver? You got me curious. What is that? There's got to be a
character from a movie.
I have no idea, but I'm very curious to know, where did you get that handle from? I'm so curious. All right.
Or is that your real name?
Who knows? All right. Last conversation piece, remembering Jimmy Carter. Now, before we go any further, there was a comment from the past we got to put up that Regina says, watching the funeral was like watching the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Oh my God.
All right. So funeral and legacy, go for it.
Well, there's this comedian, a Black comedian. She did the voices of all the former presidents and the current president, all the people coming in to the funeral, and it was hysterical. Oh my gosh, like I read lips, and it was hysterical. But I gotta say, all of the living vice presidents were there except Dick Cheney, which there are probably two reasons why. Dick Cheney, probably just being a curmudgeon, didn't like Jimmy Carter very much. But also, too, I think a lot of it had more to do with he found out Trump was going to be there. No thanks.
Yeah.
Because I still have an ongoing thing with this man and my daughter right now. And he's talking about putting my daughter before a firing squad. So no, thank you. And Michelle Obama said, what is the seating arrangement again? I'm supposed to be sitting next to who? I'm going to stay in the extended vacation in Hawaii, which is where she did. Okay. Now people are like, well, why was Barack Obama like sitting there talking with him? Let's be very clear. Barack Obama wasn't really talking to him. Trump was talking to Barack Obama.
That was.
And
talking his ear off.
You guys remember that time at that that time. Remember all the funerals and things that Michelle Obama has to sit next to George W. Bush, and George W. Bush starts talking to her, and it was that first thing they were at. I think it was a funeral for some police officers, and he was just talking, and she's like having to hold his hand because he was out of control, and she was trying to keep him kind of reining in and be like, That's what Barack Obama was doing in that case. Okay, he was giving Michelle energy. He's like, I'm going to entertain this useless idiot because he won't stop talking in my ear, and if I don't, he will keep talking to me. It's like sometimes the best way to get people to stop talking to you is to look at them and act like you're right? And guess what? There was a lot going on behind that smile. I promise you. There was
Oh,
a
I
lot
can
going
tell
on
us black folk, we know what's going
behind
on
that
behind
smile.
this smile.
But get this. Somebody said this. I think it was Joy Reid said this. She gave this perspective, and I think she's right. He really wants Barack Obama to like him.
Yes,
It's like he
does.
thinks that now that they should be friends after all this stuff.
Right.
And then somebody asked Trump about it. He's like, yeah, I think I would say that we'd like each other. I would think that we would get along as great as friends. I think that we could, huh? He
In
really,
what lifetime?
he really want, he really,
Lala's face was priceless for the last 10 seconds.
he
It was
really wants,
priceless.
he really wants Barack Obama to like him. And so the most awkward moment to me was when Pence was when well, not even then. Let me see. George Bush walks in like he just came in from anywhere, right? Taps Barack on the belly. It's like Trump wasn't even there. He's like, hey,
Man, I was there
like,
for that one. I was like, go ahead with your bad self.
but you know what though? He didn't want to say hi to him because remember, he said when his father was still living, every time Trump came on the TV, he would throw his shoe at the TV. Okay. So he didn't want to be visited by the ghost of his father. And so he just like, didn't act like he didn't see him. Laura acted like she didn't see either one of them. And then, I mean, when Trump had to shake Pence's hand, that was like,
Okay, I give it up to Pence. I give it up to him because if it was somebody who tried to kill me and I had to shake his hand, I'm sorry, I wouldn't even acknowledge that man that was in the room.
that's because Pence still, for some reason, thinks he has a career in politics. Because I would have been like, I would have been like, but no, Mrs. Pence. Now that woman right there. Let me tell you something.
He said, not today.
Let me tell you something.
Today.
If bitterness was a hard pill to swallow, she swallowed that thing with ease and no water. She said, I have time, and you are not worth it. I will not be shaking your hand, and I will not be looking at that wicked witch and shaking her hand either. And then Kamala's like, I'm not talking to nobody. Doug,
She sure did.
She's like, I'm not. She talked to Barack after a while, but at first she was looking over her shoulder at him, kikiing it up with Trump, and like, the hell I am. Right. And it's not so bad for Doug, but Doug is a real one because when she turned to talk to Barack Obama when they were standing, Doug was like, I'm gonna make small talk with Trump to keep him out y'all's business, but he better not say a word to my wife.
Right. You can tell that was all the energy.
He's like, I'm gonna talk to him so he doesn't talk to her.
You know what kills me is all these reports like, and then see everybody just came together in a time of need. Bro,
how they did. That was the most dysfunctional family
nobody
ever.
was together. What's wrong with you? No.
That was the most dysfunctional family ever. Let me tell you something about that. It is an exclusive club, a very exclusive club, the presidency and the vice presidency. Very exclusive club. And Trump still can't be a part of it. Nope. Put it this way. The only person who said hi to him put it this way. He had anyone who said hi to him, he had to go up and speak to them first.
Yes.
But for the fact that Michelle wasn't there, Barack Obama wouldn't have said anything to him.
All right. Dr. Tachi says Barack took one for the team.
He did.
She says he was babysitting a toddler.
Michelle said, you got to do this heavy lifting today.
And then Dr. Tacho says Pence has no chance of a political career. He might as well start a podcast. Dr. Tachi, you're so wrong. You're so wrong.
But she's right. She's right. Look, I feel, you know who I feel bad for in that case is Mrs. Pence, because I know that man walks around the house talking about, you know what, when I get myself together, I'm gonna get my boys together and we're gonna run a campaign and I'm gonna be this again. And I'm sure she's like, sure, honey. Sure, honey.
You know who I can't
And
wait?
there's
I
a
can't
former
wait.
president in Texas that might like a painting partner. Because he's done backed out of politics for good too.
Yeah, he's
Look,
I
George
don't know.
W. Bush
That's
is the
his
most,
dream. I think she probably just pats his little head and goes, "Okay, honey."
George W. Bush is the ultimate sipping paint person.
Oh my gosh. Stop
Because
it.
he sips and he
Stop
paints.
it.
He sips
Stop
and
it.
he paints. But
Stop it.
he's gotten very good at it though. His painting at first used to look like a toddler doing watercolors, but
Oh
now
my
he's
gosh.
gotten pretty good. He's gotten pretty good. Laura said he found a hobby. As look, as long as he is up out my face. Is what she
Right,
told me.
exactly.
Okay, are you done now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And George, I gotta say,
Oh, no.
George was a little sad though that Michelle wasn't there.
Yeah, because I love seeing her. Period.
Okay, hold on. Do we have some parting words for the late Jimmy Carter?
Oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll say
yeah.
something. Okay.
Let me tell you something. I was 2 years old. Well, not even 2. Was I 2? Yeah, 76. So I was 2 when he was elected. But I can say this. I have watched Jimmy Carter be an awesome human being these last 48 years. An awesome human being. I mean, if anybody deserves a seat in heaven,
There's
man.
a picture of Jesus. Somebody drew a picture of Jesus with his hand around him saying, "It's about time we both rest now, ain't it?" Because, Jesus was a carpenter and Carter was still continuing in his 90s until they made him stop building houses for humanity.
This
is what type of man he
the
was.
house that they lived in, the house that he lived in all his life with Rosalind, he built. It is worth $234,000. Never moved out that home. He is considered the poor and has been considered the poorest of the former presidents. Did you guys know that? He was the poorest of the former presidents because he was a real one. This man, he did not only did he do good for people, but he was good. I mean, even when there were conflicts, and this inconsiderate imp of a man who thinks he's coming in to rule is like, he's always getting involved in things that weren't his business. But guess what? People respected him for getting involved in these conflicts and making peace. Wherever Jimmy Carter went, he brought people home.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just top-notch human. When you think about, being a good person, being a good human, you cannot say anything bad about our president, Jimmy Carter, period. He was stellar from the first. He always stood on bond. He always spoke his mind. He also, he was a Christian, and he would make it a point to let people know that he's a Christian walking this life. Now, whether you're a Christian or not, that was his beliefs, and his belief was that Christ was his savior. So guess what I always say? I always say that one of the things is Jesus came and left the blueprint for us and the footsteps, and we always seem to miss the mark. But when I tell you somebody really stepped into his footprints, that would be Jimmy Carter. I am sad that he's gone, but I know that he has a great reward. And to me, he's one of the greatest, the greatest president to serve, because he truly served the people.
He did.
Period.
He did. And guys, and here's the thing. And when he realized that the people weren't listening anymore, he bowed out. I'm done. I'm gonna go be with my Rosalind now. Y'all can't listen. I'm out. I don't want to see what happens after this.
All right. Some last comments here. Dr. Tach says Carter was a stellar humanitarian. She also says President Carter used to hold Bible studies at his home up until a few years ago. That is true, family. That is true. And she also says, well done, President Carter. And also Regina says Carter was trying to drain the swamp, but the DC Dems pushed back. He still accomplished a lot.
Yes,
Yeah,
he did.
and I think that people have to remember, when you think about his presidency and you look back, you have to remember he inherited the mess that Richard Nixon left. Because remember, Gerald Ford did not walk away from what Richard Nixon left. He just continued those policies, and they were messy. And in what was he going to do in 4 years? He had a really big mess on his hands. But the part of the service I will say that I did like, and if you didn't get a chance, you should go back and hear it, were the posthumous eulogies given by Mondale and Gerald Ford. Mondale, his president, and Gerald Ford, because they all wrote eulogies for each other.
Yes.
Oh wow!
Yes.
I missed that part.
And Gerald Ford's son and Walter Mondale's son
read them. Eulogies. Yes, read their eulogies at the funeral. That is
and the
amazing.
one I have to say, he was a terrible president, but I did like what Gerald Ford said at the end. What was it? Something about when you get here, the first thing I'll say to you is, glad to see you, old friend. We have a lot to catch up on.
Well done. All right. After this has been fun. It's been since last year. Okay. We are done. Now, comments wise. So Green Eye Little Baby said she had mentioned earlier on that she's under Valencia Weaver. That is her real name.
I got you. I've already followed you.
I'm Black Irish and Native American. Heck of a combo. Yeah, that is a heck of a combo. That is a heck
Mariah Carey actually named her liqueur Black Irish.
Okay, there you go. So before we end off, I also want to shout out, thank you for sending love, Jen Myers, Dwight Allen, Donna Garcia, and Eric Sean Wolf. So 3 of those people never
them is my
heard
family
of them before, but they did. Well, they're LaLa friends. Okay, all right, they're LaLa friends. They all said sending their love. All right. So before we end it off, as always, the ladies allow us to share their contact information. So first up, LaLa Key.
Yes, I have moved a lot of my resources over to my website. You still can reach me at bit.ly/LauraKeyInfo and my store. I will be having new products this year. I have a couple of things that I've put up over Christmas, but I'll also be having some new wonderful digital products. I am really enjoying being able to put up products that people can use, such as budgets and all sorts of things. But I am going to be swinging all of my resources over to my main page, which is the www.laurakey.net, which is also where you can go to find where you can donate or refer someone who needs help for the LA fires. Please don't forget that. Please share that with everyone that you know, because you never know when somebody is going to need it, okay? So please make sure you do that. And you can find me all across my social media as Realty Goddess and Living the LaLa Life.
All right, next up, Aisha K. Staggers.
Yep, you can find me
you gotta lower your camera because we can't see your mouth.
Okay.
There we go.
Find me at AK Staggers on Instagram. You can find my work on Medium. I haven't written my first article for 2025 yet because I've been contemplating where to start. But
that's a good question. Where do you start?
Where do I start, right? But I think I have an idea. But Blue Sky, you can find me at akstaggers.bsky.social.
All right. And myself, once I'm around, yes, there's all the places you can find me. The DR, VIBESHOW.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at The Dr. Vibe Show. I'm going to probably take down Twitter, X/Twitter at DRVIBESHOW, email address DR.VIBE at the DRVIBESHOW.com. So, Regina, email me again. There's my email address. I'm going to be at my computer for the next little while. So email me so I can get that information to Aisha so you two can communicate. All right. Any other last comments? Okay. She says, okay, Dr. Vibe, Aisha, for some reason it is below the August 10th, 24th. Okay, email me again. You got the email address. Email me again. It's also in the comments section where you're watching. So I'm looking for your email so I can get it to Aisha, because I don't want it in either one of your bad books, especially in this new year. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching live on the replay. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And big up today, Shirley, intern. Great job producing, as always. And also big shout out to Emma, who's doing video and audio editing for the next little while for all of us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And as always, if you're not making money, make history. I don't know if I said my usual, so I'm going to say it again. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. And also, that's what I say now. If you're not making money, make history. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good. We'll see ya.